Things they don't tell you when you go to a federal prison camp. While I was at a federal prison camp for 15 months, one of my jobs was to be a town driver. That's partly because of my short stay there. I was one of the few who had a legitimate driver's license. What you don't realize when you're a town driver, or I think the prisoners or anyone else realizes, they give you a car and they tell you which car you're going to take. They have options, but you don't get to pick. You fill your gas tank up so that you've got a full tank of gas before you start your day. They give you a 1990s GPS system that has not been updated. So when you drive through in my area, St. Louis or wherever you are, it just spins when you have new directions that have come in or new bridges or whatever. And then they give you a flip phone that only calls the FCI, and then the FCI has to switch you over to the camp. Now, I would take girls in and be bringing them back for surgeries. And if I went out there and I got lost, which I did, you are out there trying to figure out how to get back. And I remember one evening the guard was calling us and saying, "Womack, where are you?" And I had to tell her I didn't know where I was because I didn't at that time have a GPS system. They hadn't given me one yet. And I was trying to get my markers by the trees on the road. Not a good idea. So I had a patient who was out cold from having surgery who, thank goodness, didn't wake up. And I was down to less than a quarter, really an eighth a tank of gas. And she sort of walked me through and figured out where I was. And she was like, "Good luck on my way back because if you run out, you're just out of gas and you don't have anywhere else to call but the FCI. I guess they'll come and get you." It never happened to me where I had to wait for them to pick me up, but it's sort of a horrifying experience when you first figure out you are really out there. They send you out in a car, government car, and you have the responsibility of that other person in the car with you plus yourself. You may or may not know where you're going. And yeah, you just are going on the luck of everything works out the way it's supposed to work out. I mean, another part that's interesting about that is if you have to pay for parking when you go to a hospital or something, you have no cash. So you basically have to go beg people not to give you tickets so that you can get out of there. It was just a real interesting experience to be a town driver. And while you got out and about, every trip was a new adventure for how and when I would get back. I'm Cheryl Womack, and I spent time in a federal prison camp.